Hello, class. This is David Swafford coming to you for my service project presentation for our aviation leadership class. So, uh, brief overview. We'll talk about our previously completed elements, our summary, our team reflection, statements, quotes, reflection elements, and our pictures. So our previously completed elements, that's our objectives, action plan, timeline, contingency plan, leadership strengths application. So that comes from our plan for our service project. So my objectives for my intended service project was to foster a relationship between myself and the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum, serve the needs of the museum by providing assistance however it was needed, provide a greater appreciation for the history of aviation and the history of Pearl Harbor, and enhance unit morale and cohesiveness by working on a project that will be fun and educational and will require teamwork to accomplish the mission. So my action plan was to, by the end of week 3, have contacted the Aviation Museum to set up a volunteer opportunity, and then by the end of week 4, have an event scheduled and have information to present to my peers to get some volunteers. Then at the end of week 5 was to have volunteers signed up and get their information to provide to the museum. That way, everybody would be cleared to actually volunteer at the museum. And then by the end of week 6, it was present the final details, coordinate the schedule, and get ready for the volunteer event. And by the end of week 7, I was planning to perform the event and get my final presentation together. And my contingency plan was to ask one of the organizations that work on the flight line to do a FOD walk to try to keep it aviation related. So try to pick up some trash there. That also didn't work, and I'll talk about that later. And my leadership strengths application for my original plan was to use my 3 leadership traits of an achiever, futuristic, and restorative. And to be futuristic, it was communicating my vision and goals and to have a good solid plan. For my achiever trait, it was to set a timeline and set goals to help me stay focused on the project. And for my restorative leadership strength, I was going to work out any issues that arise, such as having to implement my contingency plan, which I ended up having to go with a 5th contingency plan, which I'll talk about in a second. So, summary of the implemented service. Who it was myself and 2 of my friends, and another one of the doctors helped a little bit as well. So what we did, we actually ended up helping to paint a mural and repaint some of the benches that was desperately needed at one of our doctor's school. Her kids go to a private school, and they needed some help with painting the mural and repainting some of their benches to make it look better for the kids. Where it was at St. Anthony's in Honolulu at the school there over in Kailua. And it happened yesterday afternoon. Why did it happen? Well, that's because, like I said, my initial service plan kind of fell through, so I wasn't able to do that. Just for whatever reason, the Aviation Museum, despite all of my attempts, they never got back to me, so I was never able to get in touch with them and set something up. So it kind of hurt me. And then the same thing with my initial backup plan to do a FOD walk. Again, I tried to get a hold of somebody, and that didn't work. So then I started looking at other service projects that I could do. A bunch of them happened during the working day, during the time that people can't get out of work, especially being in the military. It's hard to get people out of work to do this sort of stuff. And There was also other events that I even looked at animal shelters, and those are all closed because of COVID. The beach cleanups, they only do those a couple weekends out of the month, and both weekends were beyond the time period for the next available beach cleanup. So I really didn't have anything else. So how did this all happen? I ended up asking one of the doctors, because she volunteers a lot through her church, if there's anything we could do for her and her community there, her church community. And she was able to talk to one of the principals at her children's school and found out that they needed help painting some stuff. So she presented me with the idea, and we decided to go with it. So on to our team reflection. So leadership skills used, definitely I had to be resilient and definitely implement a fifth contingency plan. So definitely using my restorative trait really helped. And then being an achiever, making a goal of getting something accomplished no matter what. That definitely helped as well. And it was great that my friends that helped me, they were with me all the way. And from the beginning, they were with me. I told them stuff wasn't going over too well, but they still stuck with me and said, hey, we'll get through this as a team, and that's what we did. So that was great. So personal strengths, again, being resilient, knowing that God's always going to have a way for me to get through things. And this was a great way to help the church community, to help fellow Christians. And it was just, it was overall a good experience, teaching me that, not everything's always going to go according to plan, but in the end, everything's going to work out. And for our team dynamics, we all knew each other. We knew how each other worked, which was great. And we were able to get as much as accomplished as we wanted to. We had to kind of split up a little bit to get both sides of our project completed, which we'll see in a little bit. And it was a great team. I enjoyed working with them. And some of their quotes, Rebecca said she had a lot of fun being able to paint a mural. Elena said, great job coming up with a quick and fun volunteer event. Dr. Smith thanked us for helping to restore part of her children's school. She was really appreciative about that. And the main person that I worked with to get this accomplished, Miss Millie, she said St. Anthony's is very thankful for all the hard work and for us volunteering at such a short notice to help them restore and bring joy to our children's school. So that was really heartwarming to hear that. And again, I'm glad we could do something for them. So reflection elements, what would I change? I think about the only thing I could change was with the aviation museum, maybe going there in person with a couple people and maybe just going there, showing up one weekend and be like, hey, we're here to volunteer. What do you have for us? And perhaps that would have helped a lot. But other than that, I don't think there's much I could really change other than maybe have been a little bit more proactive at the very beginning of the course with getting everything scheduled and having multiple opportunities to get something done. But what went right? Once the event finally happened, once we finally had a plan, which all came together last minute, the volunteer event went great. We were able to get out there, help them paint, get everything set up, and tear down as well, and put everything back and make it look well. The team really pulled together for me, so that was awesome that they still showed up despite it being short notice. And I'm really thankful for my team because without them, none of this would have been possible. What went wrong? Well, obviously, my first 3 or 4 service projects did not pull through for me. So that was really hard to deal with nothing ever really working until I finally got to, the fifth plan, and thankfully that worked out. So what went wrong was not being able to do what I originally intended. So my future advice for other students that will be taking this class is to plan well ahead. Hopefully, COVID has not impacted you as much as it has the state of Hawaii. And again, plan ahead. Start thinking out from the very first day what you're going to do for your service project. Um, and hopefully, it will save you from something like this happening. So now we'll take a couple of pictures. So these are our before pictures. Starting on the left, the first two left pictures with the colors, that's the mural. It was kind of started already for us. So a bunch of the other stuff that's stenciled out, we ended up filling that stuff in and helping it be a little bit more defined and look a little bit better. And then I did go ahead and ask if we could do some more other than just the mural. And there were some benches that the school has that are kind of old that you can kind of see that they're worn and they needed a fresh coat of paint. So we went ahead and touched those up. And then these are some photos during the project. Again, the doctor that suggested all of this, she had her kids out there, so they helped out just a little bit. But it was mostly us three and doing some painting on the restoration part. And then I went ahead and decided, you know, hey, I'll paint these benches while you'll go ahead and work on the mural part of the painting, which was great. So we practiced some teamwork there, and I was able to help them get everything painted for the school. So our after pictures, here's what it looks like after. The benches are freshly painted, so the kids have good-looking benches now to sit on, and the mural's really coming together, so it's looking even better than it was before. We were able to get a lot of stuff accomplished. The girls made it look great, and I'm sure as it keeps going, it'll come out even better. And then here's our small team. It was us three. Again, my teammates really stood by me. They helped me out a lot. I'm really grateful for them. And they did a really great job. So in conclusion, we talked about the previous elements. We went over a summary of the volunteer event. We talked about my team and reflecting on them. Got some statements and quotes from everybody involved. I talked about the reflection elements, you know, what could have changed, what could have gone better in, for any future advice. And then I showed you some pictures. So thank you for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it and have a good day.